Hey guys, what's up? Many consider Street Fighter the king of fighting games. But today I'm bringing you 15 new games that promise to dethrone it, starting with XSXS, the new 2 versus 2 team fighting game from Riot Games, set in the League of Legends universe. Previously known as Project L, the game is being developed in collaboration with Radiant Entertainment. The game uses characters, champions, from the League of Legends universe in a modern version of Runeterra. The gameplay focuses on fast-paced, dynamic 2 versus 2 team combat, with the possibility of playing alone or with a partner. Character movement is crucial, with options for dashes, double jumps, and other special abilities. Each champion has a unique set of abilities and fighting styles, ensuring variety and different strategies. Unlike Street Fighter, which is a paid game, XSXS will be free to play, making it accessible to a larger audience.
You can try to run, but me, I run this place. That girl with a gun? Coming through! Surprise! Boom! Let's play! Hero!
Time to throw down!
Virtua Fighter 6 is the latest title in Sega's long-running series of 3D fighting games. The game features updated graphics, a revised roster of fighters, and improved gameplay compared to its predecessors. Virtua Fighter 6 will maintain the series' characteristic 3D fighting style, emphasizing precise mechanics, positioning-based combos, and mind games, avoiding the flashier style of other fighting games like Street Fighter or Tekken. The series is known for its initial accessibility, using only 3 buttons, punch, kick, and block, and depth at advanced levels. For players who appreciate strategic depth and technical complexity, Virtua Fighter 6 may be a more rewarding experience than Street Fighter. The emphasis on realistic and technical gameplay can provide a greater sense of accomplishment and satisfaction for those who master its mechanics. The absence of fantastical elements may also appeal to players who prefer a more grounded fighting style based on real fighting skills.
Returning to the ring, a legend in his own right, a man who once dominated wrestling, who redefined what it means to be a fighter, and what dark design of fate has led him to face tonight, the very team that spelled an end to his glory days, that led to his controversial retirement that shocked the world. Free from his pack tonight, he's hunting solo, the force of pain you can contain, Wolf Hockfield!
Hunter x Hunter NNX Impact is a 2D fighting game based on the popular anime and manga franchise Hunter x Hunter. It's being developed by Aiding, known for its work on other fighting games like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and DNF Duel, and will be published by Bushiroad Games and Arc System Works. The game's main focus is 3v3 team battles, where team chemistry and composition are important. Players can switch between characters during battle. The game aims to be accessible to new players with a simplified command system. There will be a rush button that allows players to easily perform powerful combos by simply holding and pressing the button repeatedly. Street Fighter focuses on 1 vs. 1 combat, except for some specific modes or spin-offs. Nen X Impact, by adopting the 3 vs. 3 team format, offers a completely different game dynamic with the possibility of creating synergies between characters, support strategies, and tag team exchanges. This may attract players who prefer the complexity and tactical possibilities of team fighting games.
ここで始末する。動くと切れるよ。じゃ、さよ。どうよっと。どうだ、無駄だな。寝てろ。避けられるか？残念。あの娘の占いにはなかったな。貴様のくだらんざれ言はどうでもいい。こいつがおあつらい向きだ。ここだな。行くぞ。遅いな。差しでやる。なるほど。スキルハンター。インドアフィッシュ。幕切れだ。
Demon Slayer: The Hinokami Chronicles 2 is the sequel to the fighting game based on the popular anime Demon Slayer. The game will include all the Hashira as playable characters, a significant addition compared to the first game. Additionally, the story mode will be expanded to include the Entertainment District, Swordsmith Village, and Hashira training arcs. The game features a significantly larger roster than the first, with over 40 playable characters at launch, nearly doubling the 18 from the original game. The single-player mode allows players to relive iconic moments from these arcs, primarily controlling Tanjiro Kamado. The game combines cinematic cutscenes, boss battles, and exploration elements, maintaining fidelity to the anime with original voice acting, in Japanese and English, and visuals that replicate the series' vibrant style. Street Fighter VI launched with 18 characters, expanding with DLC, currently around 22. Although Street Fighter has characters with distinct fighting styles, the initial roster of Hinokami Chronicles 2 is significantly larger, which may attract players seeking immediate diversity.
My name is Genya Shinazukawa. That's the name of the man who's going to kill you!
I can win this!
Octopus face hell!
Thank you for crafting this sword for me. One thing I'm certain of is that you're evil!
Sorry I'm so late.
Knockoff is an indie 2D fighting game in development by Mechagodora, a Latin American developer with planned release on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC via Steam. The game's premise is nostalgic, inspired by the childhood games of the 80s and 90s, where children created epic battles with action figures. Knockoff transforms this idea into a fighting game with characters based on plastic toys from that era. The combat is fluid, with visuals reminiscent of classic 2D fighting games from the 90s, but with a modern aesthetic that seems to run well, as shown in the gameplay trailers. The characters are action figures with unique designs, each with bizarre special attacks and movements, reflecting the creativity and humor of imaginary childhood battles. Knockoff has a more casual and humorous appeal, with a premise that doesn't require prior knowledge of an established franchise. Its narrative based on childhood games may attract players who find Street Fighter too technical or serious, especially for newcomers who avoid complex commands.
Arc Slasher! Arc Fire! Eternal Vortex! Arc Slasher! Power Amalgam!
Umbral Core is a 2.5D fighting game set in a stylized dark fantasy world. The game's art is inspired by elements of cosmic horror and traditional dark fantasy. The game will feature 8 initial characters, each with unique and complex designs. It uses rollback netcode and has unlimited FPS, promising engaging combat for players of all levels. The game has been in development since July 2020 and adopts a dark fantasy aesthetic, inspired by works like Darkstalkers, Castlevania, Bloodborne, Berserk, and elements of Lovecraftian cosmic horror with a touch of gothic fantasy. The plot revolves around an ancient artifact called the Umbral Core, which perpetuates a cycle of suffering in a dark and fragmented world. Combos are shorter, 2 to 8 seconds depending on the resources invested, compared to other fighting games, with a mechanic to mitigate damage during combos but without interrupting them. The accessibility for beginners, via auto combos and simplified inputs, and the combination of fast pace with strategy may attract players who find Street Fighter intimidating or prefer a more fluid and expressive style. Blazing Worldstars is a 2D fighting game in development by Bloodrune, focusing on recreating the essence of 90s arcade fighting games, directly inspired by titles like The King of Fighters and Marvel vs. Capcom. The game uses sprite-based graphics, evoking the classic arcade aesthetic of Sank Neo Geo and Capcom, and is described as a traditional 6-button fighting game with modern mechanics. It's being developed in Unity and has a furry theme, with anthropomorphic characters, which visually differentiates it from many other games in the genre. The game has 2 parry systems. The normal parry allows blocking attacks without taking chip damage, and allows for counterattacks or repositioning. The backdash parry neutralizes projectiles at the cost of gray health, recoverable if the player doesn't take damage for a while. While Street Fighter VI completely modernized its aesthetic and gameplay, Blazing Worldstars focuses on recreating the feel of 90s arcades with 2D sprites, but adds modern mechanics like parries and the enhanced system. For players who prefer retro aesthetics with innovations, Blazing Worldstars may be more appealing.
Okay. Okay. Take it out. Great. You're in the red. Great. Take it out.
Cyber City Clash is a 2.5D fighting game set in a dystopian cyberpunk future. It's being developed by Applejuice Interactive and is slated for release in 2025 on PC. The game will offer single-player modes against AI and local multiplayer for 2 players. The early access version will include 10 playable characters and 6 stages, with plans to add a story mode, tutorial, and online multiplayer with rollback netcode during the early access period. The game stands out for its vibrant cyberpunk graphics and detailed environments, ranging from bustling markets to dark alleys. Players can choose from 10 cybernetically enhanced fighters, each with their unique fighting style. The AI difficulty is adjustable, allowing players of all levels to enjoy the experience. Applejuice Interactive plans to actively involve the community in the game's development, collecting feedback for character balancing, AI adjustments, and online mode implementation. The 4K visuals of Cyber City Clash are highlighted as a strong point, potentially surpassing the graphical quality of Street Fighter VI on high-end hardware, although the latter already uses Capcom's re-engine for impressive graphics. Big Boy Boxing is a single-player arcade fighting game focused on boss battles. Its art style is stylized pixel art, hand-drawn, with fluid animations and a retro soundtrack. The game draws inspiration from classics like Punch-Out! And Cuphead. You fight alongside your trainer, Hank, to become the grand champion. The game includes dodges, punches, charged blows, and special abilities like electric healing, dynamite punches, and quick attacks. The gameplay is fluid, with simple controls but demanding precision and strategy. Players can customize fighting styles with perks, special abilities, up to 40 unlockable, skins, and playable characters, allowing them to tailor the experience to their liking. Each boss is unique, with specific mechanics and transformations, like Freezy Boy, going Super Saiyan, or Mr. Adultman disassembling. This creates a constant sense of novelty, with fights that vary significantly in style and strategy. MerFight Curse of the Arctic Prince is a 2.5D fighting game with 3D visuals and 2D gameplay, developed by Matrified Games, an indie studio led by Matthew DeLucas. It features a unique aquatic theme, with anthropomorphic characters based on sea creatures, such as fish, sharks, and even an enigmatic yellowtail fang blenny. MerFight focuses on making fighting games more accessible to beginners, with simplified inputs and a gentler learning curve, without compromising depth for experienced players. Street Fighter, while having made efforts towards accessibility in more recent titles, can still be perceived as more demanding in terms of execution for newcomers. The underwater theme and cast of sea creature characters give MerFight a unique visual and conceptual identity. standing out in a genre often dominated by more traditional martial arts or science fiction themes. Bam Bam Boom, developed by O-Baby Games, is a platform fighting game to be released on October 9, 2025, for PC via Steam. It's described as an intense combat game that combines unique characters, technical moves, and deep strategies, designed for both casual players and hardcore competitors. The focus is on dynamic platform battles, emphasizing skill, timing, and customization. As a platform fighter, the main objective is to knock your opponents off the stage. Their attacks increase the damage percentage on opponents, making them easier to launch off the stage. At low percentages, the knockback is less, allowing for combos. The gameplay rewards both technical skill and strategic thinking, with combos and maneuvers that require practice to master. O-Baby Games has a history of creating games with colorful and accessible aesthetics, as seen in other titles from the developer, such as O-Baby Kart.
Oh, I actually didn't think I had any socks left.
No. Yes.
What? What do you have?
Whoops.
I was like, you're recovery, you can bring this back.
Ooh. Oh, your ledge canceled. It was a cool recovery.
Oh, oh, yo. Oh.
Super Combat Fighter is a 2D fighting game that seeks to capture the essence of digitized fighting games from the 90s. Developed by Richard James Cook, with the collaboration of Headless Chicken Games, the game promises an experience packed with content, including various fighters, alternative game modes, and a retro aesthetic. The game features 7 playable fighters at launch, with more characters planned for post-launch, including famous guest fighters. One of the alternative game modes is Giant Mode, where players can fight as giant characters. The game also promises a large amount of additional content, such as cheat codes, Easter eggs, and elaborate combos. The gameplay focuses on classic 2D combat, with digitized graphics and a vibrant soundtrack. The game is clearly inspired by the aesthetics and gameplay of the early Mortal Kombat games, including the presence of blood, gore, pits, stage falls, and brutal fatalities. Combo Devils is a 2D platform fighting game with mechanics that blend the fluidity of Street Fighter's combos with the mobility and dynamism of Super Smash Bros. Unlike Street Fighter, which focuses on 1v1 combat on a fixed plane, Combo Devils incorporates vertical and horizontal movement elements, allowing for jumps, aerial attacks, and greater freedom in the environment, similar to what we see in games like Smash Bros. The game emphasizes combos that are easy to learn but difficult to master, with an approach that seeks to attract both newcomers and veterans. It uses a simplified control system, with modern commands that allow special moves to be executed with less complexity, similar to what Street Fighter VI introduced with its modern controls. The gameplay is designed to be faster and more frenetic, with an emphasis on character switching and aerial combos, drawing inspiration from games like Marvel vs. Capcom, which differentiates it from the more tactical and measured pace of Street Fighter. Two Strikes is a promising 2D fighting game developed by Retro Reactor and published by Entalto Publishing that stands out for its hand-drawn aesthetic and a more tactical and lethal combat approach. The main feature of Two Strikes is the emphasis on duels where every hit can be fatal. There are no traditional life bars or timers. Each fight is a test of skill and reflexes, where one decisive blow can mean victory. This creates constant tension and demands precision. The game features hand-drawn 2D animations, transporting players to feudal Japan during the Sengoku period. Players must master the art of positioning, evasion, and precise strikes to overcome opponents. There is no jumping or crouching, and there is no traditional blocking. It's parry or die. Two Strikes can be considered better than Street Fighter for players seeking an accessible, visually unique fighting experience with a minimalist approach, where every hit is decisive. Its feudal Japan-inspired aesthetic and high-risk gameplay offer a refreshing alternative to the genre, especially for fans of samurai duels or casual players who don't want to invest hours learning combos. Virtua Fighter 5 R.E.V.O is a remastered and enhanced version of the classic 3D fighting game Virtua Fighter 5, developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studio and published by Sega. Originally released in 2006 for arcades, the game has undergone several updates. The R.E.V.O version is based on Ultimate Showdown, version 2.0, and brings significant improvements, including support for rollback netcode, 4K visuals at 60 FPS, and gameplay balance adjustments. One of the biggest additions is the implementation of rollback netcode, which promises smoother and more responsive online battles, minimizing lag and providing a more consistent gaming experience, even against distant opponents. R.E.V.O brings new moves and combos for the characters, as well as balance updates that adjust the performance and properties of existing moves, seeking more refined and strategic gameplay. While Street Fighter 6 has a more friendly approach with simplified controls, R.E.V.O shines by balancing accessibility with tactical depth, especially for players who prefer strategies based on movement and reading the opponent, rather than memorizing complex combos. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, stay with God, and until next time.